Hallo zusammen und willkommen zu Meet the Master. Today our guest is Helena Nielsson. She's giving the workshop for paper. So Helena, welcome here. It's wonderful that you are here, and we thought you tell a little bit about how you became a puppeteer.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm happy to be here. This title and this distance is can make anyone a bit scared, I think. Anyway, yes, I got the impulse when I was a child, actually. This is a bit romantic. But many of you in the symposium talked about the magic and these kind of things. So, yes, I was 5 years old, and I was taken to a theater, and this was totally new. It was very strange. Everything. You entered a room. There were not blue but red chairs. It was a lot of kids. I knew that I didn't knew, and we were all placed watching in one direction. Very strange. And up on the stage there was a round light, also very, very strange. And in this round light there was a small character, red-haired character, and this was not a child, it was not an adult, it was not an animal, it was not a human being, but it knew a lot of things about me, and it talked to me. And this was really fantastic. Then I don't remember anything of the performance. But afterwards we were invited backstage, and there were a lot of huge puppet hanging, and I remember the atmosphere, the smell, the magic, and I decided that when I grow up I want to work in a puppet theater. And then also one other thing was that I started to beg to my mother to give me a string puppet, a marionette. But she said, no, 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 the strings will mix up and it will be a disaster. You cannot have it. Oh. So, here I am. But then I did other things. I forgot a bit about this. I studied art, and then when I was still extremely young, I stumbled over a place called Marionetteatern, and they gave courses in how to create puppets. And I signed up, I came there, and the red-haired character was there. And I thought almost this was something in my imagination, but there the character was. And also some man who had been like a shadow behind this puppet in the round light. And that was Michael Meschke. Yeah. And Michael Meschke is the founder of Marionetteatern of Stockholm. He founded it in 1958. His origin is Germany. He came when he was 10 years old. He came to Sweden from Gdansk. It used to be Germany. And 58 he created this theater. I started my education there. There was no education in Sweden, so you had to get yourself a master, and Michael Meschke became my master. It was a lot of learning by doing, I have to say. Extremely efficient way of learning, but no room for failures.
Oh. No.
No, you have to. I mean, if there is no school, you have to Okay, we got small tasks in the beginning and then more and more challenges. And I got the opportunity to travel all over the world as a very young person, seeing so much puppetry. It was really mind-blowing. And then, yes, first I was in the workshop. And then one day he asked, do you want to learn to become a puppeteer, to perform? And this was something I had been dreaming of. So I was, yes, 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 yes. And he said something strange. He said, because I noticed the way you walk, and I think that you could be a good puppeteer.
What? What?
I don't know. Anyway, so...
The way you walk or
yes.
the way you work?
Walk!
Can you show how you walk?
I was 19, maybe it's... I walk in another way now, I don't know. No, anyway, to make it quick, then I got the opportunity to work as a puppeteer in Marionetteatern. Often it was Michael Meschke who directed, but we also worked with persons like Roman Pasca, for example, a well-known director from New York. And then in '99, Michael decided to hand over the theater to me. So I became the theater director, and then in 2003 we were incorporated in the City Theatre of Stockholm. This is always a dangerous thing to incorporate a small theatre into a big one, but I must say that this turned out quite well. I think that we have the best from being a small independent group and the best of being a part of a bigger institution with all the possibilities that are there. So, and then in the end of the 90s, I also started to direct. So nowadays I mainly direct. And also since we came into the municipal theatre, I am the artistic director of the theatre. I mainly direct. I sometimes perform. We also run an international festival every second year, so, and I'm the artistic director of that. Yes.
Yes. I think I was there when you started the festival.
Yes, because in 2018 we celebrated 60 years, so then we celebrated it by founding an international festival. Yes.
So, and now, what is your work like now? What are you doing nowadays?
Nowadays, we have it is this house, the City Theatre. It is also it is the City Theatre and also the House of Culture in the very center of Stockholm. There are many different stages, at least maybe 6-7 stages, different sizes. We, Marionetteatern, we have our own stage, quite intimate studio stage, a black box, and we have our own workshop, we have our own artistic direction, we are a smaller group, I mean technical staff, a small ensemble, administration, but we also collaborate a lot with the big workshops where there are, you know, everything, people sewing and smiths and carpenter and everything. And we have also the possibility to hire scenographers and composers and these kind of things. We do little more than 200 performances every year. The main is for young audiences, but we actually we also do performances for adults, and we also do for very, very small children. Or no, we did once, one could say.
Yeah.
when I was here 2 years ago, we were invited with a performance for people in the age 6 to 12 months. So maybe some of you were here then, but we were not able to bring the company, so we made a filmed version, and I talked about it.
Yes.
Yes.
It was because of pandemic reasons.
Yes.
We had to decide long before if you could come or not, and so we had to cancel this.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
So.
And then I talked very much about the process, and the reaction I got was that many thought, oh, so much work and thinking to make a performance for babies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, the way we often work. I mean, sometimes I direct a show, maybe someone wrote a story, otherwise we have a theme. It can be very different, but the process to the ready performance is quite detailed, I want to say. And you asked what we are doing now?
Yeah.
The latest one we did, performance, it was a show for young audience from 5, and the next one I will do will be a show for adults.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every time I am not doing the same thing all the time. I'm always trying new things. Mm-hmm. The size, the technique, things like that. The last one, you are not showing. How is the idea about photos and everything? No, you can show so you can see something else instead of. I cannot see the photos, but I collected some photos from. This is from our theater, and some photos from performances. You can just let it roll. Anyway, to give an example, the latest show I directed, was the theme was pets. Because when you talk to people about their pets, everyone have a lot of stories to tell. This is a very interesting theme. Yes. And I found out that in this theme, pets, the whole life is, because very often it starts with you longing very much to have a pet. There is always a problem you have to overcome. Often it is your parents. You have to fight very hard to convince them to give you a pet. Then maybe you love this pet very, very much, or maybe the pet becomes a great disappointment, and it's always a lot of trouble and problem. It can be with the pets. Often they die. That's very sad, or it could be a relief. So we started the work by asking someone who professionally make interviews with people to use in theater performances. So this person made a lot of interviews with people in different ages about their relation to the pets. And she also recorded the interviews. And from this material I made the show, and it was not like we did exactly what we were the stories we were told. It could be from another perspective and so on. And that was the latest show we did. And the next one will be an adult performance. Then we will combine puppetry with poetry, but also music and other things. And so it is a young, totally quite new established poet from the south of Sweden who will write. But it's not like we will illustrate what he is writing. It will, I hope it will really be a fusion so that he get inspired by things we do and so it is a cross inspiration or what to say. But we just started this project, so I can tell you more about this another year. I don't know what you see now. I picked photos from some shows and also from other parts of our
work.
Yes.
I can tell you why I choose. I asked you to make a workshop. I was in Charleville and saw your performance paper. And it was such a wonderful performance because it was both. It was abstract and it was concrete. For me, it was really both. And it was so joyful to look the actors playing with this material and to transform all the time. And can you tell a little bit about the development of this play?
Yes. The theme, in this case, we really started with the material paper. And we did a lot of experimenting what you can do with paper. And then we got also inspired very much by what happened out of the paper.
Yeah.
But and then we were four female characters in a very special costume. And I was wondering quite a long time, who are we? And then I realized that probably we are the puppets this time. But the thing is that in this show, I was not a director, Ruth. I was the performer.
Yeah.
So I cannot tell you exactly what happened in the brain of the director before we came in, but it was a lot of testing with different kind of papers, different thickness, how you can use it, and as you said, to start just with what the audience think, a piece of paper, and suddenly it becomes a bird or it becomes the sea or whatever. It was very joyful and beautiful process, and also nice performance to perform. Yeah.
And do you things beside theater that are interesting for you?
You mean in my private life?
Or hobbies, or I don't know.
Is this what you ask?
Yeah.
My hobbies, okay. Yes, I must say that it used to, when I was young, it was only puppet theater all the time. But now I do other things too.
Oh.
And I love to spend time outdoors and in nature. I do very much, I must say. A lot of sailing. I have my own sailing boat. I do a lot of paddling. I have a special kind of canoe called surf ski. It's a bit more sportive kind of canoe. And I do a lot of skating when in the winter. A lot of skating outdoors in lakes and in the sea. And it can be sometimes very nice when you stay with people that don't even care about theater.
It can be good.
It can be very good.
Interesting.
But at the same time, I also feel that you can also reach the same places within yourself. If you have a fantastic experience out in nature and also maybe you have to depend on your body to be able to do, because otherwise it can be risky or whatever. You can reach the same place as when you sit in a theater saloon and see really good piece of theater. So I think that there are a lot of similarities. And maybe, I mean, nature, spending time in nature is also something very, how do you say, founded and human. So probably it's something like that.
You have a ground.
Yeah. And also another thing, is it 20 minutes or? No. Another thing is that in theater is a very collective work. I mean, as soon as you maybe you have an idea as a director or something, but you put it on the table, in that moment it belongs to everyone. That is such a wonderful and beautiful thing about theater, I think. And the best idea will win. It's a collective work, really. And you have to be, I mean, if you, of course there are also solo performances and people creating shows solo and so, but if you are part of that group, it's responsibility, and it is also many things. And you must also, in the theater, you must also be very careful about your things. You cannot throw things around. You must take a responsibility, all of you, because if things are thrown behind stage, then it will be impossible to make a performance. And also on stage, if something happens, you all have to take the responsibility, and it is a question of life and death. All these things are similar to when you go out on the sea or if you go skating. You are dependent on each other. It's life or death. You have to be careful about your things. There are so many things in common. Yes.
Thank you, Helena. Someone has questions.
So, where to speak in? Here. Ah, that one, yeah. You are director of the Marionetteatern. You have many workers, many other puppeteers who work with you. How is the relationship of the ideas and of the development of a new show? Is it your idea and they have to do what you want? Is it their idea? Is it a collective decision? Is it more, we had the other day the discussion about the dictatorial way in theater. Someone decides and the other, so theater must work, and you cannot just wait for years until you found the common solution. So how is your way to work with the puppeteers working for you and with the other people working in the theater?
The seed for a new show, that can be a bit different each time. But quite often it can be the impulse can come from me. But for example, with the pets, then we sometimes, not often enough, but sometimes we sit down and then it is not only the performers, it's everyone, it's also the technicians, the puppet maker, the producer, anyone. And then we discuss what we would like to do and what we could do and different kind of ideas. And nothing is, there are no. Everything is okay. And in one of those meetings, it became like this thing with the pets was something that everyone in the room could relate to. So then, and I think maybe I throw the pet on the table. But after a short while, it felt as if it was a common idea. And I think that, I mean, if you as a director are the leader of the work and the leader of the group, then it is also your responsibility to create an atmosphere that is creative. And I don't think you ever can have a creative atmosphere if there is a dictator. But I think also that yesterday or the day before, when this word was mentioned, I think it was mentioned in the meaning that in every process, also in this kind of artistic creative process, there are times in the process where it is forbidden to say no. Everything is yes, 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 fantastic, and you can throw up a lot of ideas. And in my world, it doesn't matter the title of the person who throw up the idea. If this person is an actor, a puppeteer, or if it is the technician or whoever, it doesn't matter in my world. But then you come to other parts in the process where someone must take the responsibility. Someone must decide this way, not this way this time. And because otherwise you leave, you do not take the responsibility that you have to take. But of course you must do it in, but of course everything is a question about trust. You must create a feeling of trust. And it means that you must trust the people and the people in the ensemble and in the theater, but they must also trust you as a director. If there is no trust, then it's very difficult. Was that?
Yes.
But I think it's extremely important. Also, we in this big theater, I mean, there are different kind of hierarchies and so. And for example, there are so many skillful handicraft people. Often in a big theater, they are not mentioned. I mean, and they make so fantastic things about the scenographics and they are not mentioned. It's just said, created in the workshop of the theater or something. But we always make a special, before the opening, and so we always make a special show of the performance where we invite all the people from the workshops and so, because I think it's very important for people to feel that they are a part of this collective process.
Yeah.
But of course, in the room, when I said the opinion can come from anyone, of course, it is also needed that it is a very professional group. So the people know that this is the moment where we can talk, this is the moment maybe I should wait a bit. Because of course it could be also very complicated. But I think it's a question of being professional, maybe. Knowing about the...
You said something important can happen when you watch quality theater. So can you point out some of your main points? What is quality theater in your field?
I don't know I don't know if I said quality. No, I think I said if you see something really good. I think. I'm quite sure I did not say quality because it's very difficult to say what is quality. But what I meant anyway is if I sit in the theater and see something that really touches me in one way or another, that I really like, or that makes me really happy or upset, or moved or whatever, then I can feel the life in me in the same way as I can when I'm at sea sailing and it's windy and a bit, I don't know. I think that's what I meant, the connection. Quality theatre, I don't know. Or maybe when it's done seriously, when you have a serious intention.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how you work with the language on stage. You've seen some of the performances here with the language, non-verbal. What is it like in Sweden, and particularly in your experience? How do you treat the Swedish language on stage?
I very often do not have any language at all, or very little language. But I guess you are talking about puppetry now, or yes. And I must say that we do not have at all as much puppetry as you have. It is, I think that in Sweden it's a big interest in puppetry, puppet theatre, but we do not have any education, and but at the same time we just started a collaboration with the University of the Arts in Stockholm, Marionetteatern, and started to make courses. And then the interest was huge. They thought, the school, oh, you must not be unhappy if no one wants to come. And then it was like a lot of people coming. And it was, you had to be a professional within the field of art. So it was actors and scenographers and mime and circus and everything. But now I lost your... So there are not like thousands of puppet theatre performances that I can use as an example. But in my case and in our case, we often do performances without any words or limited amount of words. Yes.
How many actors or puppeteers do you have in your ensemble?
We have only 3. But as I said, we have the possibility to engage people for special projects. It's always a struggle to be enough, but I guess it's the same for everyone. Doesn't matter if you have 10 puppeteers.
Or if you are alone.
If you are alone, no.
There is one more question, or okay, the time is over now. Thank you very much, Helena.
Thank you.